Welcome back from the ad break, and let's continue with our lesson. So now we are going to be looking at the third concept in our concept map, and that is the volume of triangular prisms. So we are going to see now how we can get that volume. So the volume of triangular prisms will now be the area of the base multiplied by the height of the prism. Now the area of the base is the triangles. And since as well we are saying that to calculate the volume is going to be the area of the base, we can see that the base is a triangle. That means the formula for the area is going to be 1/2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. So we do not end there with the volume. We now also have to multiply that with the height of our prism, which will be that part of our prism, and that is going to be the height. So remember, the base is going to be a triangle, which is the 1/2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. And of course, we are going to now multiply also with the height of the prism. Let's look at examples and see how we can do this practically. So we are going to find the volume of this triangular prism. So when we are looking at this triangular prism, we can see that the base there is a triangle. Now the triangle itself has a base of 6 centimeters. That is the base of the triangle. Then of course we have the height of the triangle. Now remember, the height is always perpendicular to the base. So we have the height of the triangle there, that is the 4 centimeters that we've been given there. And of course then we have the height of the whole prism, which in this case is the 10 centimeters. So let's calculate the volume for this triangular prism. Now the volume for this triangular prism, remember, is going to be 1/2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. And of course, that's just the area of the base. We are going to go ahead and again multiply it by the height of the prism. So when we are substituting the values there, that is going to be 1/2. We are going to now multiply that by 6 centimeters, and we are going to multiply that by 4 centimeters, which is the height of the base triangle. And we are going to multiply this by the height of the prism, which in this case is our 10 centimeters. So the volume of this triangular prism is going to be 1/2 multiplied by 6 centimeters multiplied by 4 centimeters, and we are going to multiply that by 10 centimeters. That is going to give us an answer of 120 centimeters cubed, and that is the volume of this triangular prism. Let's look at the next triangular prism. We are going to now calculate the volume of the following. So as we can see, again, the bases are the triangles, and in this case, the triangles are the right-angled triangles. So we are going to calculate now the volume of this triangular prism. So remember, the volume of this triangular prism is 1/2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. And we're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. And the height of the prism in this case is the 30 centimeters there. So let's calculate the volume of this triangular prism. That is 1/2 multiplied by the base, which is 7 centimeters. We're going to multiply this by the height of the triangle, which in this case is 24 centimeters. And of course, we're going to multiply this by the height of the whole prism, and that is going to be the 30 centimeters. So what is the total volume going to be for this triangular prism? That is 1/2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 24, and we're going to multiply all of that by 30, and that will give us an answer of 2,520 centimeters cubed. And that is the volume of this prism. Let's go over now to the last point of our concept map, and that is the volume of cylinders. Now, when we are talking about the volume of cylinders, we know that we are going to calculate it using the radius of the cylinder. Again, the formula for volume is the area of the base multiplied by the height of the prism, or in this case, the cylinder. So as we can see there, that the base is a circle, which means that the formula for the area is going to be the pi multiplied by the radius squared. And we are then going to add the height of the cylinder, so we're going to multiply that by h, which means that the formula there is pi multiplied by the radius squared multiplied by the height. Let's look at some examples. Let's look at the first example there. So we have been given a cylinder, and our question there says, calculate the volume of the following cylinder with a radius of 8 meters and a height of 30 meters. So what is the volume of a cylinder again? That is going to be now the pi multiplied by the radius squared, and we are going to multiply that by the height. So the volume of this cylinder here is going to be, now remember, pi is 3,14. We're going to multiply this by the radius squared, and the radius in this case is 8 meters. And we are going to multiply that by the height, which is our 30 meters. So what is 3,14 multiplied by 8 meters squared multiplied by 30? Yes, if you have there 6,028,8 meters cubed, then you are absolutely correct, because that is the volume of our cylinder. Now, the next one that we're going to look at is a half cylinder. So it says there, calculate the volume of the following half of a cylinder with a diameter of 8 centimeters and a height of 20 centimeters. Now, because this is a half cylinder, this means that we are going to look at the formula for a cylinder, but then we have to cut the formula in half, just like our cylinder has also been cut into half. And we are going to achieve that by dividing by 2. So the volume of a half cylinder is going to be, well, for starters, the formula for a cylinder is pi multiplied by r squared multiplied by the height. Now, because we are working with half of a cylinder, that means we also need to work with half of the formula. So half of that cylinder there, we are going to say it is pi, which is 3,14, and we are going to multiply this by the radius. Now, in our question, we have been given the diameter, and as we know, the diameter is the radius is half of the diameter. So if that diameter there is 8 centimeters, which means the radius will be 4 centimeters. So that's the value that we are going to use in our formula, and that is the 4 centimeters, and we are going to square that. And on top of that, of course, we are going to multiply with our height, and the height for this cylinder is our 20 centimeters. And all of this is going to be divided by 2. So what is 3,14 multiplied by 4 centimeters squared multiplied by 20? That is going to be 1,004,8. And of course, when we divide that by 2, that is going to give us a volume of 502,4 centimeters cubed. And that is going to be the volume of that cylinder, that half cylinder rather. And then moving on to the last example here, we are given a glass that is half filled with milk. So let's read the question there. It says, calculate the capacity of the glass, which means the amount that the glass can take, or the amount that the glass can hold. And then calculate the volume of the milk inside. So as you can see there, the milk is not filled up, which means that the glass can definitely take more. but the milk only has a certain volume there. So we are going to first calculate the capacity of the glass, which means the volume that the glass can take, or the amount that the glass can take. So when we are calculating that, the whole glass, which is in the shape of a cylinder, of course, would be pi multiplied by the radius squared, and we are going to multiply that by the height. So that is going to give us a volume of 3,14 multiplied by, now we have been given the diameter of the glass, which is the 6 centimeters. So we are going to take half of that, and that is the 3 squared, and we are going to multiply that by the height of the glass, which is 20. Let's just write there 3 centimeters squared, and we are multiplying this with 20 centimeters. So what is 3,14 multiplied by 3 squared multiplied by 20? That is going to give us an answer of 565,2 centimeters cubed. And that is the amount that the glass can take, which is the capacity. But now, further on in the question, it says calculate the volume of the milk. So now we need to calculate how much of the milk is in there. So we are going to now calculate the volume of the milk. And that, because the milk is inside the glass, we are going to still take the same formula for the volume of a cylinder. That is pi multiplied by r squared multiplied by the height. That is going to be 3,14 multiplied by the radius, which is still 3 centimeters squared, and we are going to multiply that by 10 centimeters. So when we take 3,14 multiplied by 3 centimeters squared multiplied by 10 centimeters, that is going to give us an answer of 282,6 centimeters cubed, and that would be the volume of the milk that is inside the glass. And as we can see there, the volume of the milk is less than the capacity of the glass, because as we can see also in the picture, the milk does not fill up that glass. That was a wonderful lesson. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Goodbye.